Hi everybody! It says I'm live, so I think it's working. I'm just waiting for a few people to pop on. Yay! Kayla started a live video. So this is our every Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Hello! Thanks for joining. And it's our 4:30 p.m. Central Time every week live with me. I do Q&A style, but I always come prepared to talk leadership topics, different topics, in case I don't get a ton of questions. And so today's topic is productivity. I want to show you guys something I've been working on. I've showed it before. I have a YouTube video on it. It's called Leader Standard Work. And I think I actually posted it here on IGTV as well. So if you scroll, you can find it. The picture for that looks like this. It's like a blue background with the template on it. So you should be able to find that video there. Leader Standard Work. So this is something that I'm super passionate about. And if I think about my method for being successful, I think this is one of the reasons why I can be so productive without burning out. So Leader Standard Work is a tool that I use to define success in my days, and it's really useful to know what I need to be doing and also what I'm not getting to. So it helps me identify my gaps, but it also helps me know where I'm successful. Then I can tweak and perfect and continuously improve. So here's one thing I see with people who use planners. I feel like I have something in my teeth, but I don't think so. People who love planners, that is me, like obsessed. I love paper planners. I love the feel. I love digital planners because they're like so fun with all the different stickers and customizable and everything. But planners often just come with like, here is your like space to fill in to-do lists and then your time, like 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. or whatever it is. It's just like the time and then your to-do list. You know, it's good because if you work from a list, you know what you need to do and you can go on and check the box. And then if you have a calendar, you can fill in what you're supposed to be doing during the day, like meetings. But Leader Standard Work is a little bit different because, hey girl, because what it does is it forces you to think about not just it helps you in different areas. Let me break it down actually. It helps you with the things that are daily recurring tasks that you need to do. For example, I have a bunch of huddles and stand-up meetings beginning of the day. It also has weekly recurring tasks that I need to do, meetings, but also things like approving time cards and such things that are on like a regular calendar and monthly meetings as well. So it helps you on like a daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, whatever cadence you set up. Know what your recurring calendar looks like. But it also allows you to figure out, okay, I have like these specific strategic goals that I need to meet. You can start to use this tool to think about, okay, well, to meet these strategic goals, what actions do I need to be taking? So if I have to implement a new vendor or a new strategy or a new piece of equipment, well, I need to validate that equipment, right? I need to write procedure for it. I need to train my staff. All of these things, right? And so when are you going to do those? If it's just on your to-do list, it's just going to be like on there until you decide, you hope that you're going to get it done. You need to be time blocking and putting those actions and tasks onto your calendar. So Leader Standard Work is actually a lovely tool that I use where I have like those recurring things I need to be doing and I can plug them into my calendar. Then I can look in my calendar and be like, where do I have space? All right, now I'm plugging in my strategic goals. Time for me to work independently. Time to schedule the things on my to-do list. So when I see planners that are like time, your day, your hours, and then like your to-do list, I'm like, that's only helpful if you go like and put them together. So of course I have a huge like master running brain dump to-do list, but I take that to-do list and I schedule those things in. instead of hoping. So that's the difference with leader standard work. So I have a template that I use, and when I get to things, I check them off. When I'm not able to get to things, I circle them, and then I use that during our weekly reflection, and I'm like, okay, well, why didn't I get to doing this task? Is it because I hate it? Why do I hate it? Maybe I need to change the way I do it. Or maybe because I have too much to do on certain days. When we are like aspirational and have just this huge to-do list, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to have like 10 things and like I'm going to get them all done. And then when you only get like 2 or 3, which is still amazing, done, you kind of hate yourself for it. And when you look at your recurring tasks and calendar items and your leader standard work and pair it with the actions in your calendar, you will be so much better and you won't be overbooking yourself. You'll be sort of level loading your days. So if you haven't checked out the leader standard work video, definitely check it out. Sneak peek, guys. So I've been wanting to write a book for a long time. And I keep saying, like, I'm going to write a leadership book. I'm going to write a leadership book. And I have created a community called the Leadership Collaborative Community where I have courses. I have a course within that called the Leader Toolkit. And I go over things you need to be successful as a new leader or a leader who's like trying to refresh. And in it, I have a course module on leader standard work. And so I created a workbook essentially for this part of the course, and every module has its own PDF series. And so I was taking a walk this past week, different walks, and I kept thinking about this, like, I want to write a book, and I have been having this knowing, like, I need to create some leadership tool that can be like my leadership method, and how can I share this with people? And honestly, I feel like my method is leader standard work. So if you're like, I still don't understand what this is, because let's be real, it's a little bit vague if you haven't watched the video, or if you, I'd have to take way more time to go over like the recurring tasks with you and how I organize it. Don't worry. I am dead set on creating a workbook in both digital and physical form for doing this. And yeah, sure, you can kind of think of it as a planner specific for leaders, but honestly, anyone that has a calendar schedule with to-dos and strategic goals and tasks can use this planner, because this is a new way of thinking, organizing your thoughts, I should say, not a new way of thinking, just a new way to organize. I've been listening to the book Atomic Habits. If you haven't listened or read it, you should. And he talks about the word, I can't see what he calls it. I'm going to quick look it up. But he talks about when you are going to create a new habit, a really effective way to do this is to actually clips and bookmarks. Let's see. Okay. Is to have something what's called an implementation intention. So essentially, I will insert behavior at X time of day and whatever frequency. So you have to come up with an intention of when you're going to do that specific thing that you're trying to build a habit around. People who actually define their intention are, I forget what he says, but they're very much more effective at actually accomplishing that goal than people that don't ever like physically or mentally like say and decide, when am I going to do this new habit? When am I going to exercise? When am I going to read more books? It's not enough to say, I'm going to read more books this month. You actually have to be like, well, when am I going to read? What am I going to read? You have to actually define it. And so kind of the same thing with your goals and your to-do list. It's not good enough just to have like an item on your list and then hope that it gets done. You want to actually create a time around it. So that's why habit stacking is so effective, because when you habit stack, it's like every morning after I brush my teeth, I XYZ. You know you're going to brush your teeth. That's a habit for you already. You can add on that task afterwards. So for me, for some of my strategic goals or action items, it's like every day after I hang up the phone for the manager call, I check my email, right? I don't want to check my email, but I made it a habit because I just do it right after a certain meeting and I know like I have a time to carve it out. So yeah, if you are like kind of interested in how my method for taking your to-do list and turning it into your calendar and actually creating a designated time for this, that's what I'm going to be talking about more. When I started doing this, I was highly more productive because I was more realistic about the time I needed to actually accomplish these goals. When I didn't get to something, I actually moved it to a new day instead of just letting it fall off my list. And what was important, I found that I actually scheduled time for. What wasn't important and that could fall off my list, I didn't do because it didn't need to happen. It was just like an idea I had. So that is this crazy spiel of these ideas that I've had in my mind. So I've started creating a prototype of this book, and it's crazy, like all these crazy notes. And I've created like not a fake, but a digital calendar, like a mock-up of my Google Calendar. And anyways, it's going to be really, really nice. I'm also going to be including templates for setting goals and then tracking and evaluating them for work, specifically like strategic goals. I'm going to be including advice on like a cadence for how in the weeds should you get in your work? You know, should you be looking daily or reflecting daily or weekly or monthly? I'm going to have like a future log page where you can be proactive and plan ahead and be like, okay, I know this deadline is here, or this project is here, or this is tax season, or this is, budget season. Because we all have different seasonalities in our work. Or different seasons that are busy or slow or different deadlines. So you can plan for them and be really mindful with your boundaries with work and home life. So yeah, how am I so productive? Everything that I need to do is in my calendar. It's on my list, but it's also on my calendar. There is a designated time to do it. It's not just, I hope I get it done, or sometime today I'm going to get these 3 things done. No, that doesn't work. It can work, but it's not sustainable and it won't get you far. So that is what I had to share for today. I did have one question recently that I haven't addressed yet. It was like, what is it like for women in leadership positions at different levels of the organization? And just speaking from my experience, so I've been like a frontline staff member working on the bench in a laboratory. I've been like a step up, like same title, but just a little bit extra pay for training students and new employees. I've been sort of a lead for 3 months, really quick stint, more like operational workflow stuff. And then different folks transitioned into different roles. Hello, thanks for joining. And then I became this technical specialist and supervisor. And that's when I really started like being an official leader. And then did that for a few years, and now I've been the manager for almost 3, which seems crazy because, yeah, I became manager, I think it was June 4th of 2018. So, and then now I have visibility and get to work with my boss, who's a director. And I also have some accountabilities to our vice president of my service line and get to interact with our executive leadership. So like CEO, CMO, CFO, CIO, all these people. Chief nursing officer as well, CNO. And so, what I've seen is, different leadership positions, like when you're closer to the frontline work, you're in the weeds more, you're doing your scope of work is really like what's in front of you. And then as you zoom out into different leadership positions, you start to care about a wider net, and your impact grows, right? So it's from like the people that work in your department to like your entire, like next to you, and then it's like your entire department, and then not just your department, but how it affects your site, and not just your site, but like the entire system, right? So like if you're healthcare, like entire healthcare system, like multiple hospitals, multiple clinics, multiple workflows, different types of patient populations. That's just an example because I work in healthcare. And so the skills needed are different. Closer to the work, you need technical skills. Further away from the work, it becomes more apparent you need more people skills. You need more business type negotiation skills, communication skills become more important. Strategic thinking, strategic goal setting becomes more important. But you learn that stuff as you go. And, you know, for example, like my boss, she was a manager before she was a director. She didn't have experience as a director before she stepped into that role. She learned that stuff on the job. She got to watch her boss do that work. So I think once you start to have visibility to like the next level, it becomes not so scary. You're like, oh, I could do that, you know? Or you're like, I don't want to do that. Or you can see, okay, I lack those skills. If I ever want to do that job, I should go get those skills, right? So yeah, I think that's sort of like what it's like at each level. And the farther away from the work, the more help you need. So you're not doing like the technical stuff if you're on the executive leadership team. You have people around you that are doing that stuff, right? But if you are like a direct, like frontline level leader, you're probably in the weeds a lot, probably doing, like you're doing the to-do list, right? Of like the technical stuff. When you're in a leadership position, you still have a to-do list, but it's different. It's higher level stuff. It's leading people, it's guiding people, it's eliminating barriers for folks, it's connecting the dots, it's communicating, it's asking visionary questions like, how could it be? What could it be? What could it look like? What should it look like? So it's a little bit different. I think when you become a leader higher up, you tend to just have more meetings because really your role is to like talk with people and share with people and learn. And then when you're like a frontline level leader, you tend to have less meetings, but more like intense, thick work where you're like doing more technical things that require like a very specific skill set. So it's just kind of an answer to that question. So I hope that helps. All right, you guys, so this was just like a really quick sneak peek of leader standard work and how it can help you with productivity. If you haven't checked it out, find the video on my IGTV or my YouTube, watch it. Stay tuned for me showing my leader standard work more, talking more about my workbook. And I'm also going to have a free group that I'm starting next month. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do it on Facebook or on Instagram. So if you have a preference, put that in the comments if you're watching the replay. But yeah, that is coming too. And then I can share more and give you more one-on-one attention and just share content in different ways. All right, y'all, have a wonderful day. I'm home. I was in the office all day. It was really fun. Got to work with a couple of fun people and then I missed see people, and that really lit me up today. And now I'm like tired from walking. It's just so bad. It's so bad. And I was wearing flats and I'm like, oh, maybe my pregnant feet are starting to swell up. Or it could just be that it's a little bit hotter here and I'm not used to it yet. So I'm hoping that's the case. So, all right, you guys, take care. Talk soon.